decode this further, let's get to our guests. I'm joined by Ajay Alok, national spokesperson of the BJP, Sanjay Jha, author and political analyst, Harsh Dahiya, political analyst, as well as Rashid Kedwai, senior journalist. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the broadcast and on this big debate when it comes to the narratives surrounding Operation Sindoor, primarily the split narratives from the Congress camp. Sanjay Jha, I'll come to you first. The one basic question, in your opinion, is this split narrative, one party, two different voices, hurting the Congress party stand on national security? How do you read these contrasting views coming in from two sections of the grand old party?
There is no split narrative. It's unfortunate that the big mainstream media, in its obsession to protect this government, is in fact making the Rahul Gandhi in the Congress center stage when we should be asking questions of our government, because they are the ones who are principally responsible for running this country. Couple of points that are very relevant. Please don't interrupt me when I wrap up my answer. It won't take too long. Please note what Chief of Defense Staff General Anil Chauhan said in Singapore, and I quote him. "It is my personal view that the most rational people are people in uniform when a conflict takes place." That is a message both to the ruling establishment of the current government, including the media, whose responsibility was there for the world to see. And even as we talk, you can see the obfuscation being done by this government, the rhetoric, the propaganda, the whole attempt to milk the success of the armed forces for political gains. Now, here is the truth. General Chauhan, who I think has spoken, and he's spoken from his heart, he's a distinguished soldier, a man in uniform, when he makes a statement that says that jets went down, it doesn't make him in any way embarrass the country. He's above anybody on this panel, including, I think, India's Prime Minister, because he is the Chief of Defense Staff. He's responsible for our territorial boundaries. By the way, if he made that statement, does he become in the eyes equipment? In fact, its entire defense systems are obsolete. We are not even prepared for it. By calling out the failures of this government, nobody becomes an anti-national. Let's put that debate to rest. Here is the question. The opposition supporting the government, which they have after the Pahalgam massacre and the Operation Sindoor and thereafter, and the opposition questioning the government for the intelligence and security failure in Pahalgam, for Donald Trump calling out the entire ceasefire on a tweet, and then it is followed by India's government, and the fact that everyone here is speculating as to what really was the trade deal that probably triggered the entire ceasefire. These are questions that anybody has the legitimate right to ask. And as opposition, I need to tell you this, we represent the voice of India. I mean, Mr. Modi may be the Prime Minister. It doesn't make every other MP a less among equals. So in questioning the government, there is absolute correct exercise of democratic freedom. The tragedy is that the BJP has got such a thin skin and they are in such a desperate state right now to milk Operation Sindoor because they tell us that the Operation Sindoor is still on. Then I want to ask the question of India's Prime Minister. Why is he making this very macho, muscular, Bollywood-style dialogue bazi at this point of time? Can't we behave like statesmen for a change and not like politicians?
I'm just trying to understand that you're saying that the Prime Minister is milking the situation in Operation Sindoor. He's just highlighted the victory of the Indian forces against Pakistan in the wake of the Pahalgam terror attack. Now, for the Prime Minister to hail the forces, the Prime Minister to reach out to the victims of the Pahalgam terror attack, in your opinion, that is a completely political move. This has nothing to do with the fact that the Prime Minister, leading front and center, has set a new red line with Pakistan. Secondly, this question about Donald Trump, my point is that you've raised all these questions, but time and again, the military, the MEA have given a briefing to clarify those points. It seems the needle of the Congress argument doesn't move despite the clarifications. Now, time and again, even Mr. P. Chidambaram has said that the MEA has clarified on what Jaishankar said about the intimation to Pakistan and the matter should be left at there. But the Congress machine keeps on pushing this narrative that somehow S. Jaishankar intimated the Pakistanis before Operation Sindoor started. Isn't there a brazen disregard? You're saying you respect the forces, you're saying you respect the CDS, but his own spokespersons are setting the record straight, but that is being ignored by the Congress. Isn't that a mistake?
Let me tell you something here. The government of Mr. Modi has been opaque. This is what the opposition has been saying for a long time. Today the Indian armed forces are the real heroes of a country like they have been in the past. For the BJP to question the Congress on patriotism has to be the ultimate joke of the century. This is a party which in 1947, 1965, and 1971 led India to absolutely extraordinary victories against Pakistan. By the way, in 1947, 1948, let me tell you, 47, 48, when the war happened against Pakistan, it lasted over a year, not 3 days. We didn't have the best of equipment, but we hung
So,
on there because it mattered. Now here is the question. Let's move away from the politics. You are saying that the Congress party should not question the government even if it's contradicting itself. Jai Shankar made a statement where he said, I informed my Pakistani counterparts that we are going to hit your terror infrastructure. There was no ambiguity. There was no need to even scrutinize that statement. There was no misinterpretation or no misquote. It's his text, it's his
so
statement. It's been played out on all TV channels
So I
for the
played
last
I
10
played
days.
out what P. Chidambaram said in reaction to that statement. He said you
I'm
can.
glad there's a lot of respect for Mr. Chidambaram suddenly, which is good enough.
No, no.
Like people
I mean,
love
are you
Shashi
disagreeing
Tharoor,
with
which is
him? Is
also
my
good.
question. Are you disagreeing with what P. Chidambaram said that the MEA has made it clear and this matter should rest at what the MEA has said?
Well, let me tell you, I think all matters should rest, but the point is, until the speculation was put to rest, this government's credibility is at question because even till today, has anybody taken accountability for the death of our innocent people in Pahalgam? Has anybody said, why were you telling the people of India that terrorism has been obliterated in Jammu and Kashmir? People went there feeling safe, and you had no security, you had no intelligence systems. The terrorists, by the way, killed our people and are still not found. I mean, these are fundamental questions we should worry about,
Absolutely.
not on this
And
panel where our political views
No,
are,
no, no.
but
And
as citizens of
I,
this
I
country.
agree with you. The government has to answer because the normalcy
Yeah,
push has taken a huge step back. But you'll have
yeah.
to agree that the figures when it comes to violence in Jammu and Kashmir, buns, stone pelting, terror attacks, it is a stark contrast to pre-2019 to what it is today. Jammu and Kashmir is seeing the highest footfall of tourism. Even after the Pahalgam attack, the tourism sector is back on track. So, of course, there are big questions towards the security grid, but you put the Congress record, you put the BJP record, it's a stark contrast, Mr. Jain. You can't deny that at the end of the day, given the end of stone pelting, the end of separatism, the end of buns in Srinagar, and to a great extent, even under the UPA. Srinagar in 2013 saw two major terror attacks in March and June, which led to the death of 20 people. The Indian Mujahideen, as well as the Lashkar-e-Taiba, was behind that attack. We still don't know who carried out that strike. That is in 2013. So my only point is that when it comes to records, there is a lot to answer for. The BJP definitely has a lot to answer for when it comes to Pahalgam. But once again, this entire pitch that the entire country has been, blindfolded when it comes to Operation Sindoor, the sentiment on the ground seems to be different to what the Congress party is peddling across the social media as well as the national media. Ajay Alok, your response to all the points that Sanjay Jha has raised.
Well, after listening to Mr. Sanjay Jha, I'm quite convinced, and this country is also quite convinced, there used to be Congress. Now it's a clear distinction between a Congress party and a Gandhi party and a Gandhi Congress. And the split is quite wide open. It's not a question of split narrative. It's a question of undermining your country, undermining your national interest. And they have not learned from their mistakes. You remember in the past they have said, सेना खून की दलाली करती है. This was the same Rahul Gandhi. They said, Mr. Dikshit, Sandeep Dikshit, army chief gali ka gunda, and today they have come up with Sindoor ka sauda. Those who doesn't understand the value of Sindoor, only those who can say Sindoor ka sauda. You don't trade Sanjay Jha, you don't trade Sindoor. I mean, what are you talking? PM milking Operation Sindoor. And this is the level of the Congress party was think. You have given a very right, used a very right word. But that word is not for Congress. That word is for actually Gandhi Congress, who admire. They actually don't know what to do. To undermine the national integrity and the national sovereignty, to undermine the country's importance in the time of war, asking questions. Is this the time you ask questions? Parliament session is coming up. You can always ask the question then. But you have to answer, you have to ask those questions which are echoed in the Pakistan's parliament. You have always asked those questions which are taken to the UN. You have always asked those questions where Rahul Gandhi is cited by Pakistan. But still you have not learnt your lesson. But this country has gradually realized your color, the color of the family Congress. It's not the Congress party. Because had it been the Congress party, there wouldn't have been any voice of dissent. What Mr. Salman Khurshid said, what P. Chidambaram said, what Manish Tiwari is saying. But these people fail to understand because the family loyalty is one that they will never give up to, even at the undermining the national interest. So I'm really disgusted with the kind of behavior the Gandhi Congress is doing. And I can see the split very imminent in the coming days because the losing ground reality, losing their electoral importance and utmost hatred toward Modi that they have started hating their own country also. I mean, you never asked how many jets of Pakistan fell down. You never asked how many terrorists were gunned down by the Indian forces and you talk of armed forces valor. I mean, Sanjay Jha has the audacity of saying that our equipment are obsolete.
Rejoinder, please.
Who quoted this?
Yeah. I'll give you time.
Do you know the state of importance of the Indian equipment? We are doing a defense export with an obsolete equipment.
Yeah,
what
Mr.
is this?
Sanjay,
You're respecting your armed forces.
I'll give you the opportunity.
You're respecting your DRDO.
Are you telling me that when you're talking about that Indian military technology has been turned obsolete, are you saying that the technology that we use to pull down every Pakistani drone, counter every Pakistani attack, counter every missile that Pakistan threw at us, and we gunned them all down, that is obsolete? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, my friend Ajay Alok is obviously not prepared for this debate. And unfortunately, on matters of national security and foreign policy, you cannot use the standard BJP rhetoric that you use in election speeches. So let me tell you, Ajay, do your homework.
I'm not using any.
I'm quoting. Here, just listen to
please,
me.
please.
I have done my homework very nicely.
Mr. Alok, I'll give you opportunity. Mr. Jha, please continue.
Yeah. I'm quoting for you Air Chief Marshal Amarpreet Singh, AP Singh. And his words, you should read the whole interview actually. I'm going to quote to you only one line, which was used in the headline by PTI. There's not a single project which is completed on time. And there is a mention, by the way, of aircrafts not being delivered on time. You have been government for the last 11 years. Ajay, how much will you keep abusing Nehru and Gandhi, man? You guys got to accept the responsibility that you have failed.
But in the context of Operation Sindoor, who was the superior air power? Clearly we were the superior air power, correct?
I'm going to believe, let me tell you what the general said, General Chauhan said. I mean, this is the difference between the armed forces and the politicians. Mr. Modi says Operation Sindoor is on and they run a digital marketing campaign, has the Prime Minister in a cutout in large, looking like with aviator glasses, like a pilot. And they're running these, major Operation Sindoor campaigns across the country. And there is the general, the brave man who says, you know what? There were certain tactical errors, but we got our act together and we went and attacked the Pakistan air bases and we did what we were supposed to do. Can we have this kind of distinction and dignity in our political discourse?
No.
Which is why
you're saying distinction and
India's
dignity.
politicians need to learn.
No. India's distinction and dignity is one thing, but who were the people fronting Operation Sindoor? It was two military men. It was Vikram Misri. They were fronting Operation Sindoor. The DGMOs of all three services also gave a huge press conference about our achievements. The BSF gave a major press conference about our achievements. I think you're trying to paint this narrative that the military has been sidelined in the entire optics of Operation Sindoor. But clearly, the names, the names Vyomika Singh, the names Sophia Qureshi, these are on the lips and in the minds of every citizen across the country because the military was front and center. I think it's a weak argument to say that Prime Minister Modi...
Since you mentioned Colonel Sophia Qureshi, can I get my friend Ajay Alok to today, for the viewers of a very popular TV channel, can Ajay, on behalf of the BJP, can you apologize for what Vijay Shah said, your own BJP 8-time MLA and a minister, when he called her a sister of the terrorists? Can you apologize, Ajay, on behalf of your party to the people of this country, because this is the kind of respect you have for women and for women in the armed forces.
Right. I will get a response from Ajay Alok, but Mr. Jha, at the same time, Maharashtra Congress MLA Vijay Wadetwar said, how do terrorists ask religion? They don't have time to ask for religion. Saifuddin So says, if Pakistan says it has no role in Pahalgam, we must accept it. Robert Vadra himself said that the killings were because of the atrocities against Muslims in India. I mean, these kind of... Yeah, go ahead.
Let me tell you that we can go on and on about a slugfest.
Exactly what I'm saying. We can go on and on.
Here is the fundamental question. Now, here is the fundamental question. You are talking about people where the Supreme Court had to intervene in the case and say this is a national shame what this gentleman from the BJP spoke. And till today, like the protected Brij Bhushan Singh, the BJP hasn't bothered to at all make any difference to these political people who are as powerful and are continuing.
And I'm sorry, the Congress also hasn't condemned the statements that I just read out as well. Ajay Alok, please respond.
I condemn it here publicly as well.
You condemn Robert Vadra, what he said?
First of all,
sorry?
You condemn what Robert Vadra said?
Anybody making a statement which only makes everyone feel more insecure or feel that there is an attempt to fish in troubled waters needs to look within themselves. But this government has a lot to explain to the people of this country, because the people of this country have them in government. We have no choice. We don't know where to go.
Right. Ajay Alok, please respond to that.
First of all, Sanjay, you must understand, government of Mr. Modi is a wrong phrase. This is government of India, right? Government of Mr. Modi is something very sarcastic and demeaning what you always try to do.
Like one.
Number two, I have already done my homework very nicely. What Air Chief Marshal said, that never the equipments are delivered on time. Don't you think it was referring to you? Because this Rafale was supposed to come way back in 2008 and 2009.
Just to clarify, Sanjay Jha, what was the date of that interview?
After Mr. Modi came.
Yeah.
No, he definitely said, I know that. He said that equipments are not delivered in time. He never said that equipments are obsolete. Don't change your words.
Right.
I'm just objecting on your word obsolete.
Right.
The equipments were never obsolete.
So this will always be a tussle. Yeah, go ahead.
The point is armed forces valor cannot be challenged. It's not Mr. Modi who went on through the borders or who went inside to Pakistan to attack. It was his political will that gave the forces a clear-cut, open signal that do whatever you are at your will. Choose your place, choose your time. You never did that when you were in the government. You talk of 45, 48, 65 and 71. You are responsible for this. We wouldn't have had a POK had you dealt the situation nicely in 1948. And then you say we are abusing Nehru and Gandhi. Isn't it a true fact? That in 1971 we were in Lahore, Indian flag was there, but we couldn't negotiate, even our 54 soldiers.
Yeah, 93,000
we ended up giving
up
what are the claimed
no negotiation on POK. That is the record of Indira Gandhi. Also at the same time in 1974, she even proposed sharing nuclear technology with Pakistan. That is something that has haunted Indira Gandhi's legacy.
And is there in the parliament.
And is there in the parliament records as well. Let's bring in the other guest.